Alright, trade recap. And yeah, this position is still running. And technically it could still go up and hit TP too. Um, yeah, because as you can see, TP1 got hit and I moved my stop loss here to my entry point. Anyways, let's start with the trade recap. And today, how I traded today was pretty much different how I typically trade. And because, due to the current geopolitics and fiscal politics, market is moving a bit different. Now, I wouldn't say particularly choppy, but compared how it was 1 month ago, like clean rallies, upside and downside, um, my and I just call it old strategy worked out perfectly. But yeah, now due to recent price action market, um, I had to adjust because I kept losing and losing, and yeah, of course, also partly a bit of a goofball, but I was kind of getting uncertain and more unprecise. So I was kind of forced to, reframe and doing like a recap from all the things I've learned. And yeah, so let's start with the trade recap. So now we see the daily is bullish, and overall I was bullish on gold because for me it still looks like an uptrend. Well, fair enough. It was retesting almost or at least a bit this upper resistance area, which I'm more used, for the higher time frames. And where did the trend line go? Long story short, I was bullish. Then I kept scaling down to the 1 hour, and we see perfectly with this indicator that again, that it showed me that the previous candle was sweeping the previous candle of that low. Wow, what a sentence! But still, overall, I was still bullish. But the thing is, on the 1 hour, I was facing this area of accumulation. So I was drawing the lines of this consolidation area, and I saw that it either is going to, break to the downside or to the upside. So then I was drawing on the 1 hour, these fields I would like to call just, this area of accumulation slash consolidation, and then I scaled down to the 50 minutes. Now on the 50 minutes, we see, it's consolidating, of course, the range you were drawing. And from this range, this was like the permanent high, which I marked out. And it also took that out. But before that, we were watching it somewhere around here. So yeah, here was the price which I was... No, actually here, sorry. Here I watched the price action. And we see on the 5 minutes, the candle closed above this swing high. So in theory, this is a market structure shift slash change of character. I just decided to change how I describe this to market structure shift because change of character, I just do it. Don't question it. I just do it. Okay, it doesn't change anything. The meaning is still the same. So now we are clearly on a downtrend on the 1 hour, right? So on the 5 minutes, I would consider this as a market structure shift. Now, yeah, it's pretty ambitious, but I still was seeing it as that within in this area of consolidation. Now, I wanted to see, like, originally this was my entry point, but the thing is, as I mentioned, this time I was operating and trading differently, so I would only watch if it gets there and not being too quick um with my action. So I was watching it. It swept this low. I kept watching it. It swept this low as well. And then it swept also this low. And the thing is, this was my buy limit, so I got stopped out twice because of that. And I can tell you what the mistake was. The thing is, how I approached it in the first place was actually way better than how I used to do it. And to be honest, I'm kind of a bit proud of myself because of that. But the thing is, I forgot to zoom out a bit more and look what was going on before that. What do I mean? This low. And why? And the thing is, it's not because, oh, okay, I wasn't expecting this one to be taken out. No, if I would have zoomed out, then this could be like a point of interest. Why? Because the thing is, this is a high quality liquidity area. Why? Now, the thing is, This one could be one as well, but clearly, if you look closely, this is a high quality um, area of liquidity. Because the thing is, yeah, on the higher time frames, this low is like the swing low, but on the 5 minutes, this might be the swing low on the higher time frames. And I know higher times are all higher powers, but on the 5 minutes, this isn't as strong because we see move up, then little leg down, and then a rally to the upside, like a long extension to the upside. So we don't really have any interruption within that. So this is clearly, in my opinion, a clean and a strong area of liquidity. So if I would have been aware of that and also seen that, then I could have seen it or kept watching price action until it sweeps this low. And guess what happened? It swept this strong low. This was a strong liquidity sweep, and we see after that it moved higher. Now it was a bit sleeping here, but then anyways it went up and hit TP1. And afterwards, which gave me more confirmation on that, was I realized afterwards during all of this we also have actually an AMD formation. We see here the area of accumulation, right? It's consolidating. Then this pretty fast spike movement to the downside, which I wasn't expecting to be that fast, which is clearly the manipulation. And then after that, what was following? Of course, the distribution. Boom. Yeah, so this was the bias on this one. So I would argue overall this was like a pretty high probability setup. Now I was a bit concerned because it was a bit choppy right here. But we see it still played out, at least taking out TP1. And actually if it goes down and it closes here of my entry level, then I'm still profitable. So I'm cool with that. Now let's go to USDCHF because I was taking a trade there as well. Now let's go to the daily. On the daily, we see now this was a bit harder to me to read, to be honest, at some point because I couldn't tell if it either goes further to the upside or to the downside. Now both could happen, obviously. What we for sure know is that the previous candle was sweeping its previous high of this one, and now we don't know if it's either oversaturated or not, because it still could have gone further up and take this high out, or at least getting close to there. So then let's get down to the 1 hour to get more information. So, and what do we see now? Overall it's still on an uptrend, right? But we see it's like starting to consolidate to the downside. So it was consolidating to the downside, and we saw that clearly. So I was assuming it's going to keep moving to the downside. Yeah, it's kind of ambitious, but when we then move to the 5 minutes, you see why. Now the thing is, before I go to the 5 minutes, one more thing I wanted to say. I wanted to see one more break of structure because, in theory, this low could be the market structure shift. But I still wanted to know another breaking out or closing below the of a new lower low, if you get me. All right, let's get to the 5 minutes. Now, on the 5 minutes, we see here inefficiency, a fair value gap. We see the first time got right there, got respected, boom, down. Then it went up again, and it just kept filling out orders within this fair value gap. So I was watching it from here. Now we also have here an order block. That's cool. And the thing is, I wanted to see a sweep of this high, which also would have been our entry. Now the thing is, we see it went here to the upside. I entered off that. This was like, my signal for the entry. It wasn't, well, actually, I wasn't entering immediately. I just watched a bit and then I actually was entering a bit below it. I mean, above it. Because again, I wanted to watch price action. Then I entered off that and it was a bit slow, even a bit choppy if you want so. And then it was getting to the danger zone, similar right here. But then fortunately it played out. All those things came to force and then it was going to the downside. Now, to be honest, I wasn't expecting this kind of distribution. But anyways, long story short, it went to the downside. And in theory, we could still assume that there's also an AMD setup going on, like, here the accumulation, the manipulation, and the distribution. but it wasn't as clear as on gold, if we compare it side to side. So yeah, this time the approach was a bit different. Also, how regarding my execution, but also on the analysis, because typically it was most of the time chilling on the 50 minutes and more jumping for on the higher time frame analysis onto the 1 hour, 4 hour, 2 hours. So it wasn't very clear. The thing is, like, I just involved like too much, which was kind of messing my setup up. So yeah, I just decided to focus on the daily 1 hour and 5 hour, and maybe a bit looking just to peek into the 15 30 minutes, but mainly focus on these three time frames: daily, hour, 1 hour, and 5 minutes. And yeah, it played out, and we are up on both accounts. Now, not incredibly much, but still, we are up. And what matters to me that after this losing streak, I'm seeing a clear change and improvement, especially when you think about that what kind of a beat up I was getting the past few weeks. And yeah, I just had to change my approach, the way how I analyzed stuff, etc., etc. Now, I want to get too excited to this win today, of course, but it just shows me the difference, the huge difference of the approach, of the analysis in that way compared how I used to. Because one market is very clean. Well, the thing is, I forgot like some fundamentals of the PD arrays or of the retracing tools I've used. Now it's not like that it was particularly wrong, but the thing is, I was also kind of getting started with switching to these different time frames, also using more support and resistance. It just got things mixed up, and the thing is, in that way they work, but I'm someone, within the way I trade, I just prefer to be super precise. Also with my old strategy, I just prefer to be super precise. So that's the reason why changing it to that, the approach, like using it more consciously, those retracement tools, and being way more aware of them, and also the fundamentals, and also the trajectory, and also the things which make them to come to force, just changed, and this also helped me. So yeah, now of course it's about to keep collecting data, keep trading like this and see how it's going to move on, but it makes sense. I just got lost into the charts, maybe also because of the losses and stuff like that. And yeah, overall to be honest, I'm very grateful that I came to this. So yeah, again, now I still let this position open. It's pretty much going to get closed here. Like it's going here. But in case if it's not going down there and closing it, then it's also cool. But doesn't matter because we're still up today. And what counts to me is that I improved my analysis and also my approach. Because like if I would have changed nothing, then I probably entered off here or here. And as you can see, this would have been like a terrible entry for a scalp. Maybe for day trade holding it the whole day, then yeah, it would be cool. But I'm more scalping, like I don't know if you can call it scalping, like scalping and day trade, but I just prefer to be super precise. So I can allow myself to have a relatively tight stop loss and also a ambitious TP. Now in that case, I had like two TPs because yeah, it broke to the downside and yeah, I think I get it. So with that being said, this is my trade recap. Today was a good day. This maybe those losses were a necessity in order to actually remind myself how they really work. Those retracement tools I use, like using them the right way, not kind of getting lost. Because yesterday I was and the previous day I was kind of starting to reframe, not reframe, but to recap certain things. So overall, today was at least for sure a very important day to me. So, with that being said, cheers.